Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we will talk to Adam Stump about the successful launch of his bottled and bond wheat whiskey. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Cailee Baker, Adam Stump, and Bo Cumberland.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Hey, so yeah, we're going to have a fun conversation today. Again, congratulations to Adam on a very successful launch. I was there. What a great day that was. So really fun stuff. Happened to be on my birthday. I felt like it was a party thrown for me, but apparently it wasn't. But it worked out well. So it was a good time. But we'll talk about that after the break. For right now, Adam, you did say there's something else you wanted to talk about outside of all that festivities. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so Laura asked me today, we're on the way home from the zoo with the girls, and they had both like just fallen asleep in the back seat, and she's like, just out of nowhere, she's like, so what do you regret buying the most for the distillery? And I was like,
gosh.
Yeah, well, I'm curious, what do you guys regret the most buying?
What do I regret the most buying? I bought when my daughter was born, she's born in 97. I bought a 1987 Mercedes-Benz SEL, huge car. And, I thought this is great. It's a nice family car. It's a huge sedan. That thing, that trunk, literally we could all be in that trunk and that could close the lid. It's a huge car. But when you think Mercedes quality and all that, it was owned by a doctor. They had all the service records, great car. But I had nothing but problems with that thing. And it was 10 times more expensive to repair that thing. That's the last used car I'll ever buy in my life, actually. Because the air conditioning went out, the alternator went out, all just like one thing, you name one thing after another. I'm replacing it. And that was, I thought it's super safe to drive my daughter around in, and it was a nightmare. Terrible car. Well, anybody else have something they regret buying? McNew. No, McNew buys something every night off of Amazon, but none of it's a regret. What about the ball pit for the dog? I mean,
that's a good one.
The dog doesn't care about a ball pit.
No,
it's not a 3-year-old.
It's
not a 3-year-old child. Yeah.
We were in New Orleans. It was one of the New Orleans bourbon festivals. I forget which one. I was drunk as shit in the back of an Uber it's the year we got the mansion. I was drunk as shit going back to the mansion to get dressed for the evening. And I was like, I miss my baby so much. I was FaceTiming Chris, and like the dogs were losing their minds. We just had Oakley and Saint. Milo was there too, but it was Oakley and Saint. And I was like, I miss them so much. And then I got on Amazon after I hung up with him. I bought them a ball pit to be delivered before I got home. They didn't give a damn about it. Gave no fucks about this ball pit.
Oh.
They didn't even like the balls because they're not bouncy. They don't do anything. They hated it. They acted terrified when I put them in it. So I cleaned the balls and I took it to my mom's for my nieces and nephews.
There you go. So I'm glad I was here to help you out and assist with your worst purchase.
I do buy them a lot of dumb shit. Mostly everything I bought for my dogs that they hate. Yeah.
Bo, anything you ever bought that you regretted? I tell you what, I don't want to. I'll do it for Bo. Maybe this is a segment where I do your regrets.
It's fine.
I'll tell you, he got the large size Skyline 3-way chili. And let me tell you something. If he didn't regret that son of a bitch, I did about an hour later. We were staying in the same room. Horrible situation.
I did not.
Nobody, you should always regret Skyline. Terrible choice. So many better things to get.
I like Skyline, but I'll never go there with Bo again.
I don't regret that at all. That was like one of the highlights of my life.
Oh, he does the little hustle, he's dancing off into the bathroom, and then I hear it sounds like a trombone shorty concert going on in there.
This is the thing about Skyline. It looks the same going in as it does coming out, and I don't
That's
know
the best part of it.
It was traumatic for me.
Really, all chili does, doesn't it?
Oh God!
I mean, let's be honest.
That was one of Bo's worst buying decisions, right there. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I'm trying to think of like what I regret buying, and I've made stupid purchases before, but nothing that I like really regret buying.
right.
I'm not sure.
See, that was my instinctual answer. Obviously nothing. So she reminded me of a couple of things.
All right. Well, we'll talk about those. Cailee, do you have anything that you regret buying before we get to Adam? Whatever he had to put in for Laura here, this will be interesting. And if he admitted anything,
It's really not that interesting, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested. You brought it up.
I have two different options. One is a bottle on my shelf. Yep, I think it's right here.
Falls off the chair.
No, I'm not gonna bother finding it. But
She's more coordinated than me. She handled that well. That chair lean.
The chair lean.
Rogue Ale whiskey.
Oh
The
yeah.
only reason we bought it was because the little dead guy on the top was cool. My husband's from Oregon, and we thought it was going to be cool, and it was terrible. But it's a fun sipper for like if you tell the story and you want to have somebody taste
You
it.
bought it because the bottle and cork were cool, and after tasting it, the bottle and cork are cool. Was the review of it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't super disappointed, but I'd say the worst purchase I ever made was probably my Ford Exploder. I bought it. It was a 2003. I bought it after I lost my first car, and
dude, where's my car?
Yeah, it was a purchase on Craigslist. I think we got a pretty good deal on it from what I remember. It was like when I was, I don't know, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
But after a month of owning it, the engine went out.
Okay.
And then after like 2 months of owning it, the air conditioning went out. And then after like 3 months of owning it, something else happened. And
that's the same thing with that Mercedes.
It's
one thing after another.
We were done after that. We were like, all right, fuck this car. And I think we sold it off for just a little bit for my
used cars are wonderful.
For a little rent-a-car one of those rental cars that you can get. What's it called?
Adam, what did you say when Laura asked us what's your worst purchase?
There were really two things distillery related anyway. And of course I flipped it around back to her right away. I'm like, well, nothing. What do you regret buying? She's like, well, I mean, there might be a couple Amazon purchases, but that's it. Right. Yeah. Just a couple. My biggest one, we thought we had such a clever idea. We spent a bunch of money on a patent, and like we got the patent or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, oh, well, we just paid a bunch of money for this patent, and it's really completely useless to have a patent on this. So we probably should have spent the money on a good lawyer ahead of time to see whether or not it was worthwhile to patent our idea. But the second thing was we bought. I was real hot and heavy into malting our own barley. So like we grow barley. We're going to malt it on site. Well, we ran out of room quicker than we wanted to, and it didn't happen. But me being as impatient as I am, I'm like, oh, here's a good deal on some equipment. I got to buy all this equipment. It was bad from the get-go. We were bringing it home, and it was from Central Illinois. And one of the tanks rolled off the trailer on the way home and hit this lady's car. So,
oh, geez.
Yeah, it started out bad. And then we ended up not doing anything with it. And I just ended up trading it to a guy for some advice, basically. And, just picking his brain for a couple of days. So it was that was one of the dumbest things that I probably purchased, I would say.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well,
can't win them all.
On that note, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew. She went last time. She started out this time. What do you got?
So I have a Sazerac rye pick. It's the Select 6 Kaplan's 859 tap room. Everybody involved with those guys.
Okay. Decent. We'll see how it goes. Bo, what do you got?
I'm actually going with a bottle of the Old Monroe. It's the Bananas Foster. I have a little bit left in here, so I figure since we're talking about Stumpy, then I would go with that.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay. Again, decent, not as good as McNew's. McNew's got the lead. I've got Kentucky Spirit here. Kentucky Spirit. All right, here we go. Nothing. Cailee, what do you got?
I got E.H. Taylor single barrel. I figured I'd go with a bottled and bond too. You know, I don't know. The episode is bottled and bond.
Sure. Okay. I think that's enough. I think that's the lead, actually. Yeah, Kaylee's got the lead, but not great. It can be beat. So what do you got, Adam?
I just so happen to have a bottle of Old Monroe bottled and bond wheat whiskey. So I'm going to crack that open.
Okay, there it is. That's victorious.
A lot of squeak, though.
A lot of squeak, but the pop was solid. So there you go. Cheers, gang. Congrats.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Adam about the successful launch and, what this means for the company moving forward and that type of thing. It was a big moment, I would say, in the distillery's history. When you get a crowd like that for a new product launch, it's kind of a big deal. So we'll talk about that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Saying Bourbon Daily?
Yeah.
Okay, you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
No, your name first.
My name.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jason Souter.
And
you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we have Adam Stump and his successful launch of a bottled and bond.
Yes, we do. So, Adam, I know what I think when I see what's going on there. I mean, and again, I'm coming at it from a fan of what you do, but, to me, it's pretty exciting stuff to see a guy. And I know where you started from, and, there's probably many days when you open the doors at that place and it's just you and Laura working there, the two of you, and maybe nobody came through the doors some days. I mean,
we used to sit there and play cards.
Right. So then, you fast forward to, where we're at today, and you got a bottled and bond whiskey coming out, and you've got a crowd, and they're out on the parking lot, and they're kind of gathering out there, hanging out. They don't just come in and buy their bottles. They just hang around because this is a big event. This isn't just a release of a whiskey. This is an event. And I don't know, tell us from your perspective what this feels like.
It was super cool. I mean, it was really, like the first release that we did. Well, shoot, for starters, I guess it's the first new product that we've had with our name on it since 2018 when we did a gin. So definitely the first new whiskey in a long time. So, this is the first new product we had those. Since the grand opening, I guess, that we've actually had people waiting for outside. So number one, to see that, it was super, super cool. And Steve, as you know, and, McNew and Bo, maybe our company's changed even a lot since 2018. So, this is a project that we've been working on for a really long time. It's one that we've been super proud of. Steve, you probably tasted the first time we ever publicly sampled this whiskey. First time we ever pulled barrel samples, we took it to Whiskey in the Winter 3 years ago. So it was, it's kind of been on our radar since then. And it was always one of those where, hey, this is good enough to go now. We could release it, but we always wanted to hold it back for bottled and bond. It's kind of the plan from the get-go for this one. But anyway, yeah, just to see that, and, to kind of see the tailgating and all that fun stuff going on was incredibly humbling for sure. So
yeah. What do you guys want to know about this? Any questions you have about this big moment in the history of the story? Go ahead, Bo.
So I've always kind of wondered this, Adam. If you look at the true definition of bottled and bond, it was created kind of as a regulatory scenario to where the government could kind of control the quality of bourbon. So what is the benefit, or why would a distillery now want to strive to have a bottled and bond when there's really no need for it? When all bottles are kind of the same quality, or at least that you don't have anybody putting tobacco spit and stuff in there. So
yeah.
Why would you want to have a bottled and bond?
In my mind, bottled and bond is the highest state. The government regulates everything in distilled spirits, right? It's so important to them that they've got the freaking seal on the dollar bill, right? It's important. So, bottled and bond is the highest statement of quality that the TTB puts on any whiskey. So it kind of makes sense for us to go after that just from that regard. I completely agree with you that, there's, I would say, not, tobacco spit and all those crazy stories that you hear going on anymore. But it is frustrating at times to see people, that, again, nothing like that, but maybe not entirely truthful on their label, or,
right.
Not as transparent as,
I agree. That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah. Not as transparent as what they could be. And, this is really so, laser focused on what it has to be when it's distilled, single distillery, all that. And to be honest, we do a bottled and bond for a contract where we source the whiskey for that, a contract client of ours. And the nice thing about bottled and bond is when we had to get that label for the client submitted, on the back of that label, it has to say specifically the distillery's DSP number, where it's located, all that stuff, and then bottled at our DSP. So it was still kind of refreshing to see that the TTB takes, that close of a look at it. So yeah, for us, that's kind of why it's always been in the sites, just because if there's no higher statement of quality that we're going to regulate putting on a bottle, the rest of it's just marketing. So of course, this is something that's got to be in our sites at some point. And this was the first product we decided to do it with.
Yeah. Cool. It's a little bit of a flex moment too, because a brand new distillery, that's 2 years old isn't releasing, bottled and bond that they've made. So it's the fact that you've been in business long enough to be able to, produce that product too, which is kind of cool. It is a bold statement type of thing. So I think that's why bottled and bond, again, almost kind of lost favor. But when we're talking, when there's only, 6-7 distilleries, bottled and bond's not a huge deal. But I think these days with craft, I think it actually is, because of all those things you're talking about. that we know that, when we look at your label, you're not sourcing it. It's not a blend of, multiple places and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. What else do you guys want to know about Mr. Adam?
I want to know about that day because I'm actually kind of mad at myself that I didn't cancel my plans and drive out there because everybody was tailgating, everybody was lined up. Did it feel like a wedding day? Like you have all these people and maybe you get to talk to and maybe you don't. Like what did that day feel like for you?
Yeah, it was really surreal. We had the still running too, which was kind of cool. That was some people that, might have been following the journey of the new still and all that stuff. And that was the first time they got to see it run. So a lot of, meeting or, a lot of, talking to familiar faces and, getting to catch up and all that fun stuff, but also a lot of meeting some new people and new whiskey fans and people that had maybe heard about us on social media and, decided to make the drive over for that release and that kind of thing. So that's, a lot of times like the storefront can kind of like run you down a little bit. Like it's, kind of this thing that you have to do at times and all that stuff. But that was when, and, I'm generally not an extrovert anyway, but that was one of those times where it's like, wow, I really enjoyed, talking to all these different people about the product and just, all that fun stuff. So yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah. I get McNew's decision not to come in. Don't you, Adam? Because, to drive, 4 hours and then to buy a bottle and then leave and turn around and drive 4 hours. Yeah. But it wasn't like that at all. I was there, I think 5 hours and I left and I was like, I'm leaving a party here because it was my birthday. I had to get back because we were going to be going out to dinner and stuff. But I was like, I'm missing out on some fun stuff here. So
it wasn't a timing issue for me. I had just ordered a birthday cake for my dog that I had to pick up that day.
Oh, you should have just left it at that. That makes it just terrible. And she couldn't come to the biggest moment in the history of the distillery because she had to pick up a dog birthday cake.
I really couldn't expect my husband to do that.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's a worse excuse I've ever heard.
Terrible excuse. I should have been there. I regret
Is there any way I can get like McNew's like little like screen off of my screen?
I know, exactly.
Getting more band than Kathy, cool.
Cailee, anything you want to know about this moment? You're in the distilling business, and I don't know if you've had a big moment like this yet, but I'm sure they'll be coming to you and your team. But what's been happening?
Well, one of my first days at Leatherwood actually was the release of our bourbon, but it was a special 160th anniversary bourbon for Fifth Group, and so. I mean, I don't even know how many cases we went through, but what I want to know as a distillery worker, how many people did you have handling that crowd? Because the day that we had this release and we were, line out the door the whole damn night. And it was on a Monday night, which we're not even open on Mondays. So it was like super weird. It was me and one other bartender and then Andy.
Three of you? That's it, huh?
We were swamped. It was crazy.
So we've got a killer team, and most of them are, I guess, what I would call veterans. They've been with us a long time, managing the storefront and all that stuff. And we had 3 people running the store. Laura, my wife, was doing everything she does, like making sure everybody is where they need to be, and
but she's even checking people out. Like I went to her,
she's doing it all. She's Wonder Woman. It's unbelievable. So yeah, she's taking care of all of it. All that stuff, and then myself. That's it. So we're a super small team. So that was the actual like execution of that day. But before that, it was a lot of prep work. Just general distillery stuff.
Yeah.
So
what the cool thing is, and of course I've been in big crowds. I'm talking like, Black Friday type of situation. Those are ugly, especially if you're not staffed enough. But this is, and probably Cailee, you had the same thing, even though it was a crowd and probably too big for the amount of staff you had. People are in a good mood. They're orderly. They're there to have fun. They're lining up. That's what was going on now. You just wait in line. You buy you get your product. You stand in line, and that this is a big moment for them. And you're not pushing each other. You're not. There's no one falling down because they're trying to run around. It was cool. So very good stuff.
We did have somebody fall down that day. But
no!
What happens? No. Last question for you, Adam. Any regrets? Now those those barrels were right inside the distillery. Those were the barrels that we used to tap into all the time. I know that that was some of your favorite whiskey you would sample out of there. They're gone now. Now they're gone. They're sold. Is there regrets that happened? So give us some insight into that. Or is it like, well, I'm just making more stuff. There'll be a new favorite now.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are regrets. So like, as you guys know, like our recipes have changed over time as we've decided what we really want to focus on. But one thing that we've decided to do is keep the 100% wheat whiskey. And it's always going to be in the portfolio, the wheat bottled in bond. So we do have a stock of more barrels coming. So I'm not necessarily upset that those are gone. I am upset though. So we entered 3 of the barrels were entered at just 93 proof. And 1 barrel was entered at 120 proof. So when we blended those together, the overall blend was basically just a hair over 100 proof. So we had to add very little proofing water to it whatsoever. So it's almost barrel strength.
Almost a barrel strength bottled in bond. How cool is that?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's really stupid for a distiller to do that, but whatever. It's expensive. I was hoping that the 120 proof would have lost a little proof, and there's no control over this, but I was really hoping it would have lost a little proof, and then I could have blended 2 of the 93 proof barrels and kept 1 back for a single barrel, because I knew the 93s were 100 plus or minus. That's what they went up to. That 120 barrel though went up to 133.3. So it took all 3 of the 93 proof barrels to get the character in there that we wanted to. So that's the big bummer, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Again, congratulations to Adam, and it takes a team. I mean, he gets to, because he's making it, he gets, a lot of the credit, but that's not going to happen with him there by himself. So congratulations to that entire Stumpy Spirits team on very successful launch. Everybody who works there should be proud of what happened on that Saturday. Yeah. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Cailee, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Find me over at Leatherwood Distillery and on Instagram at Cailee Baker and at the Bourbon Bakers.
All right, Bo.
I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Bourbon Sasquatch, and both of those under my journey through the American Spirits.
All right, Adam.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Stumpy Spirits or stumpyspirits.com.
McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. We put our events out there. We've got the shop, all new stuff that's out there. We just ordered it, and it's not out there yet as we record. It will be out there by the time this drops. So check us out at abvnetwork.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.